Hi everyone, I'm Tara Lynn, coming to you in the middle of the quarantine, doing videos. I decided to do these videos after we were in isolation, maybe the third weekend. They've been on my to-do list for like a year, but I just didn't get around to it. So once all my nails came off, except for this one, and my hair could only do a ponytail because anything else is inappropriately big and it would take up the whole screen. Not doing that, so this is what we've got. Then I decide, oh yeah, it's time to do videos. But the time is right, and this is right, so I'm doing it. Now I'm coming to you from Phoenix, and I'm reading parts of my book, Activating Your Inner Superhero. It's my electronic book that's on Amazon for download, free if you're Prime. I'll put the link. This book was written like 6 or 7 years ago, but it's still relevant. I'm still living out that dream of becoming a better person, stronger person from having both my hips replaced so that my story can inspire anyone who's going through a tough spot or a devastating diagnosis or the loss of a loved one or a job or hopelessness can feel inspired. So today I'm wearing my shirt from Fabletics. I don't know if you can read it, what it'll look like on the video, but it says, I'm a warrior, not a quitter. That kind of sums up who I am. Now, I fully acknowledge that the videos that I'm doing are very upbeat and positive, and sometimes when you're in the middle of sadness and despair and stress, people ain't trying to hear it. And they just don't want to hear this, oh, she's so Pollyanna, she's not even very realistic. But people handle stress in different ways. So no judgment to anyone who can't handle a message of hope during a time of despair. They'll get there, hopefully, eventually. Some people are like, yeah, let's go get it. Let's figure out how we're going to get out of this, how we're going to manage, how we're going to grow, or how we're going to make sure that we don't fall apart. Or when we fall apart, how we're going to put it back together and try again in the next minute, in the next hour, or on the next day. So be gracious with yourself. Give yourself some time. No one's perfect. I've eaten way too much ice cream. I've drank wine. I've cried. I've been fearful. I've had insomnia. All the things. Let me get real. Let me get really real with you for a minute here. I'm not going to go into details with it, but I am planning to go through an adoption ceremony for a child that has been with me for a while. It has been a joy, an absolute joy to have her. And I have not put a lot of social media. I'm not allowed to do that for legal reasons, but we're supposed to have a ceremony in the coming months. And with this pandemic, a lot of that has been pent up in the air. And to be honest with you, it is heartbreaking to think that this whole pandemic and the virus would destroy plans that have been in my deepest heart's desire for 20 plus years. I have not had any children, but recently, in the past year or so, this has become my path with this particular person, this child, this beautiful human being. And now the pandemic hits, and this could threaten like the timeline for it. When you've already been waiting 20 years for something, and then a pandemic hits, can you imagine the people who planned weddings? The people who planned anniversaries, big family trips, birthday celebrations, turn-up parties, just personal things that bring joy. And then this comes and they can't do it. So I'm managing my own emotions. I've got a smile here, but there have been times when I've had to coach myself up, encourage myself and say, just because, even if it doesn't happen on the day I need it to happen, the day I want it to happen, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. That requires a lot of grit and a lot of processing in your mind and saying, nope, I'm not giving in. I'm not going to lay down and just despair and not get back up, believing my dream can still come true. I do believe it. So I just want to keep it real with you. It's affecting everybody, even if they don't show it the way that you show it. It's there. It's there. So I'm believing that things will work out, and the date that it's supposed to happen is the date that it will happen. And I'm going to show so many pictures after I'm allowed to, of this beautiful baby. So, but what I'm doing is I'm reading chapters from my book, and I'm going to just read a couple paragraphs because my goal is to make these videos short, get straight to it, and then move on. So I wanted from my heart to talk to you a little bit about how this is impacting me, and also impacting my family. My nephew is an only child, and the idea of him not being around any other children until when? Don't know. He doesn't have any other children to play with in person, and that makes me sad. So I'm going to do my best to pray and think of ways that I can connect with him in a way that encourages him and keeps his spirits up. Anyway, Activating Your Inner Superhero. That's my book. This is the cover. Tara Lynn Colbert, that's me. I'm the author. So let's read a little bit from it. It's about my hips and the fact that they were replaced. Before my joints collapsed, my hope had already vanished. I needed tissues for my issues and ice cream for my pain. Hips are my only area of devastation. I have had financial flops and bad relationships. I always thought I never get what I want. So why would I expect things to be cool with my money or my relationships? But like Iron Man when he had his awakening, I finally woke up and realized I had to stop putting the welcome mat out for failure. It was my kryptonite, but also my lover. Failure was something I expected. I didn't expect it. I expected to grow from failure or fail forward and be a better person. I expected it to flatten me. And the threat of it was always ringing my doorbell, and I kept answering the door, letting it into my house, sleeping with it, and making it grilled cheese sandwiches. I had a personal relationship with devastation. I expected it, and I stayed with it like a bad relationship. Leading up to my surgeries, after many doctors, chiropractors, acupuncturists, fasting, lots of prayer, I was still in pain because I was in denial about the need to have hip replacements. I did all those things. I was in constant, chronic, excruciating pain for 3 years. I felt like I took a daily dose of kryptonite, like Superman. You know, kryptonite was the thing that was like, it hurt him, it could kill him. And so I would take my daily dose and let it destroy me. Some days I would take up to 10 Advils. 10 Advils, people. Like they were breath mints, and they never really took away my pain. My life was like a scene from The Incredibles, the movie, superhero cartoon. When the dad is walking around in a daze, no ability to engage in his own life, that was me. I felt like that in my body and my mind. I was in so much pain that I avoided going to the bathroom at the office because it was too long of a walk, so I would hold it all day. My bladder hated my hips. My hips made every other part of my body miserable. So to get my swagger back, as the young kids like to say, do they still say swag? I don't know. Anyway, I had to learn how to walk again with the new joints and the new way to think about my life. I had to envision and draw on the inner superhero, the warrior in me, to get through that transition. What do you need to draw on to get through your transition? What thoughts do you need to be thinking about to get through this pandemic? Maybe you need to call somebody today and just tell them you love them. Maybe you just need to wake up and put some new clothes on. Get out the pajamas. Maybe you just need to open a window. No one's saying you need to build an empire and start a new pyramid scheme or join a group and start being a distributor for some sort of product. But you do deserve to think that there's a better life on the other side of this pandemic, or there's a better life on the other side of whatever pain that you've been dealing with. There is. There's a better life on the other side of my hip replacements. I didn't know what it looked like, but I know what I wanted it to look like. And I've been creating that life with tears, with sadness, with frustration. Not perfect. It's a long game, not a short marathon. Anyway, I'm going to talk more about my life experience. That's it for now. I hope hope that someone is blessed by this. Stay safe. I'm Tara Lynn, and I'll talk to you soon.